the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
From Sonoma, California, welcome to The Winemakers with hosts Danielle Langlois, Brian Casey, Sam Couturi, and yours truly, Bart Hansen. Let's see what we get into today.
There we go.
A little nervous doing this in front of your boss?
Yes. Absolutely. You're really putting me on the spot. Thank you.
She does it every night.
Yes.
Nothing new.
Welcome to The Winemakers, everyone. We've got a special show for you today. Thanks, Tess, for pouring for everyone.
They let us out.
They let us out. We are at Appellation Healdsburg, and we are sitting down with Chef Charlie Palmer. Now, this whole show sort of came about, and Chef, I don't know if you know this, but Megan and I used to work together at the Fairmont at the Sonoma.
Oh,
Michelin.
yes. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we recently did a podcast where we were pouring out at Wing and Barrel. And we had Robin Sebastiani on the show, and we were talking about Wing and Barrel, and none of us could remember the name of the chef out at the executive chef at Wing and Barrel. And we were like, it's Charlie Ferraro, Charlie Trotter, Charlie. I know it's Charlie. Finally, one of us.
Charlie Ferraro. That's a blast. Yeah. You know Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in the business for a while.
Yeah. Right.
So. I think Megan ended up listening to the show, and she kind of scolded us a little bit and said, all right, you guys are going to come up to Healdsburg, and we are going to put you in front of Charlie, and you are never going to forget his name. So welcome to the show, Chef. You know, you've got a long storied career, kind of New York guy that moved out here to wine country. And when you think of the history of culinary culture here, for those of us that grew up around here, it was, kind of started with Alice Waters at Chez Panisse.
Sure.
And then, you had Thomas Keller at French Laundry. And then it kind of got past to you at Dry Creek Kitchen, bringing some stars home. Mm-hmm. And now you are part of this sort of Appellation empire that is what we kind of want to hear about. We're at Appellation Healdsburg today, but you are breaking ground in, I don't know quite yet, in Petaluma. I'm a Petaluma kid, born and raised.
Right.
Also in Morgan Hill, Mohai. Sorry, I know you guys.
Is that a Mohai?
Mohai. That's I don't know who came up with that.
But somehow that
and in Park City as well. And then I think I just saw something about you, a cowboy bar down in Southern California too. So you got a lot going on.
Paso Robles.
In Paso Robles, which hopefully
it's a perfect place for a cowboy bar. Yeah. It's like the Wild West of winemaking.
That's right. So, and then we've got Tess Housholder on the show, who is recently featured in Vogue. She is one of the young somms to watch here in wine country, and she has been responsible for the entire the wine program here at the hotel.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. And Chef, I know you got a cookbook even coming out tomorrow, so we want to talk about all of it.
Sure.
But can maybe just give our listeners, a little history about how you got into culinary and how you made it out here to California.
How I ended up here in Healdsburg.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. It really started, for me, I started, in the industry. I started as a chef. I started cooking when I was like 14, 15 years old. And then went to, after a few years, went to the Culinary Institute in Hyde Park, the Hyde Park campus. And then, and right from there, went to New York City. So I was in it early on, and in New York, in the early days, I was kind of into the French mafia. So I worked at La Côte Basque with Jean-Jacques Rachou and Lutèce with André Soltner and Roland Chenu at Le Chantilly, and some icons like that. And I think and from there I spent quite a bit of time in Europe, especially in France, but in France, in Belgium, and apprenticed. I had the great good fortune to be in and around Lyon. I worked with Georges Blanc in Vonin, and then a chef by the name of Pierre Orsi in Lyon, and various other people. And then opened my first. Actually, became the chef at the River Café when I was 23. So
and got stars at that age.
Yeah, I'm not the big star guy. So everybody talks about Michelin stars or stars in this, stars in that. I mean, I think, I was again had the good fortune to be really the second chef at the River Café. I followed Larry Forgione, and it was really at a moment where, like on the West Coast with Alice Waters and Jonathan Waxman and people like that, this kind of idea of American cuisine and all things great about American cooking. We're just starting, really just coming to age. And, and the River Café was a great showcase for me, to begin, especially as a kid. Yeah. And then I opened my first restaurant that I owned and built myself, in 1988. So, I just turned 27.
And what was that restaurant?
Aureole. Yeah. So Aureole was
legend.
Yeah, it was an iconic, and I think in a lot of people's minds, kind of the American version of Tess. It was in a townhouse in the same area of New York City, and kind of, had that feeling, and that's what I wanted it to be. And that was my dream to do that. And then from there, we opened, many other restaurants. Aureole Las Vegas opened a few years after that. I was one of the first people to go to Las Vegas. Everybody told me I was crazy, well, what are you going to do in Vegas?
And why didn't people think that would work? You had people coming in with money and there was really no great dining.
Well, because at the time, Vegas was all like buffets and, food wasn't really important to most people, but it took the vision of, like Steve Wynn and some people like that realized that, if you brought great restaurants and great chefs to Las Vegas, everybody going to Las Vegas is from somewhere else, right?
Yeah. And
they're coming from LA, they're coming from New York, they're coming from all over the United States and South America, Europe, anywhere. Yeah. So shortly after that, when I went to Las Vegas and opened Aureole Las Vegas with a wine tower and wine angels and
that's right.
I'll have
you guys remember that?
That was Christophe Tasson.
Yeah.
Oh, was he working there?
Was part of the Wine Angels program for a while.
Yeah. We had it at that restaurant. In the beginning, we had 3 master sommeliers working, on that program. Yeah. Stephen Geddes and then Lindsay Geddes, who was the youngest female master som ever at the time. Now they're married, obviously. And it was just a time where, wine was so important to Las Vegas, which sounds kind of weird, like the greatest wine lists and the greatest wine programs, I think in the United States, at least were in Las Vegas. And of course, New York has iconic programs, Chicago, all the food cities you think of, but, if you really thought about it, it was a place where food became so important in Las Vegas in such a short period of time, that could really not happen anywhere else. At least
is there something about it, like the blank slate that it was at that time, that allows it to grow in a way, sort of?
Yeah, but it was also like anything is possible in Las Vegas. Right. Like when I told when I said like we're gonna build this restaurant, it's gonna have a wine tower that houses 10,000 bottles of wine. It wasn't even a question. It was like, okay, we can do that. Right. Where
only in Vegas.
Where in most places that would be like, that's impossible. Who's going to pay for it? The whole thing. Yeah. We opened the program there with almost $4 million in inventory. Wow. Yeah. We had every first growth from 1900s or like first growth Bordeaux's. Right. They were just, it's just impossible to have that stuff anywhere else. In the world. So.
And when you talk about American cuisine, or you mentioned American cuisine, I've heard you sort of.
I still to this day, I don't really recognize it as American cuisine. And, that's why I really don't say it too much. I always termed what we were doing at the time and still today is like progressive American cooking, because to me, a cuisine is not something that, just happens in a few years or, 20 years or even 50 years. it's like something that's happens over hundreds of years. And I would like to think that what's happening even today here in the U.S. in all the great food cities and stuff like that, that someday what we're doing, whether you're a born American chef or you came here from somewhere else and are cooking here in this country, that will make up to what could be called a cuisine. But I don't think we're there yet. And I think it's, like I said, I think it's hundreds of years to to really qualify something like that. It's
supposed to be the melting pot. We're supposed to bring ideas from all other places and
that's
kind of
the
make
thing.
them our
Like,
own.
that's the thing that and that's one of the most exciting things about it too. And I think where the creativity really comes in is like there are no boundaries, and there's no history of like what has to be like that, because that's the way it's been done for hundreds of years.
Right. Kind of like California winemaking. I mean, it was the Wild West. You didn't have to grow anything particular in that region or do it a certain way.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
Chef,
In a lot of ways, a lot of things like that. Yeah.
What do you think the personality of American cuisine is kind of becoming?
Well, I think it's one thing I think now is very important, and it always has been this way, that it's regional, like the way we cook, here in California, in the wine country, for instance, is different than, what's happening, like say in the Carolinas, things like that. I mean, a lot of the same, like, attitude in some ways, but, it's all about what's growing there, what's happening there, what the craftspeople are creating there and making, are growing. So that's why, that's going back to why I ended up here in Healdsburg, is because probably in the top 5 reasons, were that thing where, what was happening here as far as like craftsmanship and growing, and being in the middle of a place where, people are literally bringing produce to your back door and, foraging mushrooms and coming to your back. You're like, that only happens in very specific places, right?
Yeah. Well, and not only people having farms and you getting stuff from the farms, you have like, and I don't know if you still do. I know at one point you had one person that was just doing tomatoes. And then you had a couple that approached you that wasn't even in the cheese business, and approached you and said, "Hey, do you want us to make some cheese for you?" I think one of them was a chemist. And I mean, you had people that were kind of, what can we grow for you?
Yeah. And that's why, and it's reflected in the new book, Wineland. It's, to me, Wineland is this place that, again, almost anything is possible, and, it's a lifestyle, it's not just food. It's certainly not just wine. Obviously we're in a wine region, second to none, I think, but it's about the people and the attitude that they have here, which is, I can make cheese, maybe I haven't done it before or whatever, but if you have great ingredients or great, product to work with, you can do whatever. And I think that's an attitude, and it's not just food, it's like, making pottery, or like, and anything that has to do with craftsmanship. And that's really what it's about. So,
that story reminded me of, I think it was Laura Chanel and Alice Waters. Alice loved that cheese and was like, more of that. And then it became this thing that we all know.
Yeah.
I mean, my thought, just flipping through the book a little bit, every page I felt like I saw a friend, it's about the community that cultivates all of this, and it kind of feels like what you're building here at Appellation.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot. It's tied very closely to Appellation, and what Appellation is a brand, because we're very different than any hotel brand or operator or whatever you want to call it. Because our approach is much different, first of all, from the beginning, design, you're immersed in food and wine and everything from the second you step through the front entrance. Everything about the hotel is thought in that way of being genuine, and I think taking all the pretension away from everything and making people happy. I mean, I think that's what hospitality needs to be more about.
Ding.
Yeah. No, and that's different for everyone too, right? So it's like reading people's desires a lot of times.
Megan was talking about how you walk in the front door, and you didn't even necessarily notice it. I was running late, coffee, the whole thing. But she brought us back out there, and you walk in, and it's designed to feel like you're walking into somebody's home, into their kitchen first.
That's exactly what it is.
Where it all begins, right?
Yeah, when people come to our home, that we built here 25 years ago, where our 4 sons grew up, and we've been here for 25 years in Healdsburg, but everybody walks into the kitchen. Right. It's not even technically the main entrance to the house. That's
the front door.
That's where the door. That's where everybody walks into. And first thing they do when they walk into our home, I'm always I'm cooking or I'm opening a bottle or whatever. The first thing that happens is you're getting a taste of something, or you're getting a drink of something. You're getting a little sip of something, and that's exactly what the approach is here at the hotel. That before any of the transactional stuff happens. Let's have a taste of something. Let's have a bite. Let's get yourself into the right mood.
That was one of my first impressions of the Palmer family. Is obviously Chef Charlie is an icon, but I remember when we opened the doors, Cortland Palmer, who was walking around, he greeted everyone. He said, "Welcome home, welcome in." And when Cortland's sons are running around, I love when Chef he talks with the guests, with his sons, and is so proud to show his family and to show this beautiful place that we're a part of. It embodies hospitality to me.
I remember our friend Barbara Gorder was at an event that you were at, and she came and told me, "Oh yeah, I think he brought me a gin and tonic or something."
Yes. Yes.
Hey, if that's what she needed at the time, let's get going here.
If that was true or not. I said, well, that sounds amazing. And how did you guys? So I heard a rumor that when you were in the interview process, that it all sort of got sparked over California or French Chardonnay.
Yes.
Can you go into that story a little bit?
Well, in the interview process, Chef had asked me what my favorite wine was, and I was talking about Montrachet and Chardonnays and how this beautiful expression comes out. Quite frankly, I tried to sell him a bottle of the winery I was working at the time.
Which is where were you working at the time?
Miriam Vineyards. I was like, well, we got this old Wente, Chef. You never tasted it. And I remember not being intimidated and just wanting to share my passion about wines. And I hope that that came out in the interview process. And, it's so fun because it always ties together too. As Chef is joining us in the dining room, I love getting to show different Montrachets and different Burgundies and getting to grow my knowledge through the program. And this is very much because of the opportunities that Chef has given me here.
Yeah. And wine is a huge part of this property. I know, Chef, you're actually making wine with Clay Morrison. You guys, what are you actually crushing grapes, Chef?
I actually this year when we harvested this last year. Yeah. So I was with the guys in the vineyard, which is amazing because my vineyard's a small vineyard, so they literally picked this vineyard in less than an hour. Right. Yeah. 25 people, but
right.
To be experienced, but we do everything small batch, and I do the punch downs and stuff like that. My kids have been involved in it over the years, but this year will be our 19th vintage. So So we've been doing this for a while.
And what are we drinking? This is a Palmer, the sparkling, correct?
Yes. Well, this is another joint venture. I always call these things joint ventures because I don't pretend to be a winemaker at all. But to me, it was always my dream. And another reason why we moved to Healdsburg and Sonoma specifically is, I always wanted to grow grapes and make my own wine, that kind of thing. And, Clay and his dad, Tom made that reality for me, which is I hold that very special place in my heart for them because, it sounds like a small thing, but for me, some of the things in life that make a big difference to me are like, you can do it, I want to do it, Yeah. And so the Pinot project, we called it in the beginning, so it was Charlie Clay Pinot, and we fought over whose name was first. I kept saying, "You're Clay, you're the winemaker," and I was like, "No, yeah, it's your wine, Charlie." So anyways, that's the way it ended up, and that's a fun project because some of the fruit comes from from my small vineyard. Some of the fruit comes from Don Caligari, who's become a good friend and very unknown. Now his vineyard is being used by a lot of people. William Sellian makes a single vineyard wine from there. Like Susie Selby does. I mean, there's a lot of people that recognize it now. And then, Steve Dutton, who I was with yesterday, we get a small amount of fruit from him. He's a good friend and, family friend. So you can kind of cherry pick things where we want to create what becomes a blend every year.
I mean, I think that the last 25 years of Healdsburg has been transformative up here. I mean, I remember coming up here as a kid when my dad was developing Pezzi King Vineyard and I was in 5th grade, and there was nothing. Like there was one freeway exit. Being here in this time has been. I mean, you're clearly part of that
Healdsburg's evolved immensely over the last. We've been here for 25 years, so I can remember when early on there were like really not hardly any restaurants. Right. I mean, Bistro Ralph was on the square and a couple other things, but that was really it. And again, like when I got involved in Hotel Healdsburg and then H2 Harmon House, that partner, I'm still partners with the original partnership of that. Merritt Scher, who was a visionary in my mind, who's no longer with us, but really saw that, Healdsburg could be a place where, a hotel and much more than a hotel, but, something like that could really be successful, but also bring something to the town. Yeah. I think, he had a real vision of that. It wasn't just about building a hotel. It was about building something that made the town better, and it took a long time for a lot of people to understand that too. And of course, me being from, having a bit of a name and being from New York added to who's this guy from New York coming to Healdsburg and why is he doing this and all this stuff. But, I think that ended pretty quickly when, once we built a hotel and we opened Dry Creek Kitchen, and really Dry Creek Kitchen from the get-go, it was about Healdsburg. It was about the community and about, what I thought, a quintessential wine country restaurant should be, accessible to people, a really great experience, showcasing everything again that really goes on here, or at least I think that it's special. Yeah. And, even to this day, like Dry Creek Kitchen, we only serve wines that are grown in Sonoma, and that was a commitment I made to the wine growers and the winemakers in Sonoma. And, it was incredible to,
That's the sentiment that I've been enjoying seeing pop up in social media. And it was somebody put a meme out and it just been making the rounds that, we focus so much on local food and get sometimes, and not that I'm going to say no when you pour Montrachet at lunch later, especially for us.
Yes, and I was like, I do love burgundies.
The wine world is obviously so global, but when you're in a place like this, you have the opportunity to focus on also the local agriculture that is the wine community, right?
No, absolutely. Like here, I didn't want it to be the same as Dry Creek Kitchen, that kind of thing. But I also, after 20 years, I also recognize that I think it's really important in my mind that all the great wines that are being produced here, that are being made here, need to stand side by side with the greatest wines of the world, because it says to everyone, and it says to us that these wines are of equal, and they should be on the same stage, as other wines, the greatest wines of the world. So, that's really our program. And the program here is just starting. We're just starting to build the program. It takes years to build, what I think is an incredible wine program.
Well, yeah, you get allocations.
Yes.
And a lot of times what would annoy me is you get the allocations of these wines. People are so excited they want to buy them because they don't have access to them.
They want to scoop them up.
But they're drinking them when they're just babies.
Yes.
And you say, I want to put those down in the cellar for 10, 15 years before I even put them on the list. But not a lot of people give you that opportunity. You have to work for someone that allows you to do those kind of things.
And even working with the distributors, I always ask them, like, please give me the libraries, please give me access to it. But at this time, I'm brand new. The program is brand new. I am lucky to have these current releases, but you're absolutely right. Everything on the list right now is about 21 to 23, right? Which they're so beautiful in their own sense. But
you picked up some, it was a pretty good time. 21s, 23s.
Yes.
Yeah. Good run.
And going into the wines in California being on the same level as wines globally, I think it's really fun because we're starting to carve this niche of, yes, the wines are phenomenal and can stand up to global wines, but they're very unique in themselves too. So it's not that California is trying to be these historic wines that are all around the world, I find, but they have their own personality. And I think we're starting to identify what the California personality is a little bit. So it's really amazing for me to be in this community and talk with winemakers.
You have unique access that a lot of somms at other restaurants around the country don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be in a dining room and Tom Rocchioli, who I think is a phenomenal name and a phenomenal winemaker, the wines are flawless. And the fact that I get to have casual conversations with him about his wines and his history and family, it's a very unique situation. I'm very, very lucky to have those conversations.
Well, and another cool thing about, California wine or wine made in the United States is that we're able to explore like really the depth or the spectrum of how a grape can be made, right? Because we don't have a lot of rules. So you can have a buttery oak Chardonnay or you can have a clean stainless steel Chardonnay or anything in the middle. Yeah. And we can do really weird, funky things if we want. And like basically people can open their mind to being like, I thought Chardonnay was this. And now you can say, no, it's not this. It's all of these things. But also with Cab, also with Grenache, also with Pinot, you know.
And I think that it's very unique in Sonoma County as well. I think that we're starting to be able to identify like a Napa Cab, like the flavor and taste. Yeah. But Sonoma County, you're so open to experimentation and there's every part of that spectrum, which is great to get to represent because especially in a place that is entirely food driven, Chef Reed is creating amazing food coming out of the kitchen, and there is a bottle for every single dish that can be represented. The ever-rotating menu, the seasonality of the food, there is a bottle that can pair with everything. Yeah.
Well, before we started recording, we were talking about how you never had allergies in Colorado until you got to Sonoma. And, the reason that we're here is everything grows here and in a diverse way. Well, Chef, when you got to California and started working with produce here, what surprised you about the access to things in a way that you might not have had in other markets and regions?
Just the easy access to everything. I mean, I think, that I knew this early on that, like I said, this is the kind of place where, if you couldn't find what you were looking for, you could just ask somebody to grow it for you. That was really true. I mean, I would have numerous people say, I grow this, I do this, whatever. And I would say to them, have you ever grown whatever? And they were like, oh yeah, no, but I will, and that just doesn't happen hardly anywhere. It's like the commodity crop, spectrum is different.
Totally.
And, that's where we're doing with Folia here. And with Reed and I have talked about this a lot is our goal is to take it again to the next level, which is, we have 30 culinary beds here on property, on the hotel property. We have 28 citrus, mature citrus trees. Everything we brought in here was mature from the beginning. Because I'm not young enough to let people things grow for 10 years before we do stuff, right? But this is just a small part of what we're doing here, and what we call the home ranch where I live. We have a huge greenhouse situation, and we have probably almost close to 2 acres of planted, gardens where one day, and that day won't be that far away, we'll be completely estate driven as far as any fruit, vegetable, tree fruit, herb that we use in our kitchens.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Wow.
Yeah. We're not yet like single thread, but we're going to get there.
Yeah. Shout out Kyle and Katina.
I mean, what
Kyle
and Katina have done, is just incredible. And it's, and we actually get a lot of produce from Kyle and Katina because they're growing so much more than they can use at this point,
especially certain people that don't live in farmland. When things come in, they come in.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You gotta use all those tomatoes.
Right now, we're just kind of on the tail end of the Watma strawberry thing going on in Sonoma, where every single restaurant has those strawberries in some way, shape, or form on the menu. And then when tomatoes come in, boy, it's just what can we do? What can we possibly do with all these tomatoes?
Well, and so talking about the spectrum of wine, right? There's a spectrum of food because what you get in a grocery store or what's available to restaurants that don't have access to a farm is going to be like this one, this one variety of strawberry, which isn't for flavor, right? It's bred for its ability to be shelf stable and to be able to be transported. Whereas if you're growing your own food, if you're growing your own strawberries, you could have 4 or 5 different varietals that you pick fresh and bring to the table, and they're so much more flavorful.
Yeah, there's no excuses here in wine country. I remember at the Fairmont, we were doing a winemaker dinner one time, and I needed tomatoes for a tomato salad, and the tomatoes that we got just weren't working. And so I called up the team up at Hansel Winery. I knew they had tomatoes up there and said, hey, I got a winemaker dinner tonight. I know you guys got some killer tomatoes up there. Can I just come up and grab some? Nice. And they were nice enough to, and they were night and day different from the ones that had been delivered to me.
Well, and what I love about the story of you guys sourcing from the single thread farm for this restaurant, we talk about this all the time in the wine business where, other wineries are technically our competitors, but people drink everybody's wine all the time. You want to just drink great wine.
Of course.
And I love that, technically on paper, you would be in competition with single thread, but really you're part of this community working together and sharing crops and concepts and ideas. And, I love that. I love that that's happening here in the restaurant world too.
And there's so much, excuse me, chef.
No, go ahead.
And there's so much that we have in our backyard too. For example, we're a Hog Island oyster house, and it's amazing oysters, amazing representation that is local as well. And so there was so much stepping into the restaurant industry that, yes, you think of produce, you think of these beautiful garden beds, but there's so much in the community too that can be representative of Sonoma County.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chef, are you still going hunting out there at Wing and Barrel, or do you got a little spot of?
No, I go Wing and Barrel. Yeah, Wing and Barrel's not hunting, by the way. Right. Wing and Barrel's shooting. Right?
There's a wildlife area out there.
No, we have.
They come to you though. You don't have to go find them.
We have like 16 fields. Which is great. The thing I like about Wing and Barrel too is that you think of it as a very high end sporting club.
Oh, the bathrooms are amazing.
Yeah. The clubhouse is great, but it's the way it's set up and the fact that. A big part of the business there is raising, hunting dogs and training dogs, and that whole kennel situation is amazing. It's bringing youth into that world, which some people frown on, and it's not like not really recognized in a lot of ways. But we have trout fishing, trout casting ponds there. We have every shape or form of sporting clays that happen there. We have axe throwing. We have all these things that people don't think about as Wing and Barrel, the hunt club.
Yeah, not your typical wine country getaway adventure.
No, and we have 18 or 20 winery members that are members of the club that part of their membership is they put, I think it's 3 or 4 cases of premium wines into the cellar every year, every vintage. So that's a lot of wine coming into that curated cellar there. That's pretty amazing wines. So it's a lot of fun, and most of all, it's about community and bringing people together and that kind of thing.
So Chef,
good
your
fun.
book, I think his official release date is tomorrow.
It is, yes. Tomorrow is the official release of Wineland, and Wineland is really a lifestyle book. It's got some recipes in it. It features a number of different chefs, a number of different winemakers, a number of different craftspeople that, growers and makers, cheese makers,
Got the Reichardts in there. A lot of love for the Duck
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. And it really is, it really is kind of a summation, I guess you would say, of, my 20 years here in Sonoma County, and just a few of the people that I think are super special. Because it's, there could be hundreds of, people in here in the book. I mean, it could
you
only
could do one every year.
I was going to say,
have all new people.
So that was a difficult thing to select, the 8 winemakers that are in here, because, I hope some that aren't in here are mad at me, but they all understand it. Maybe the next book you'll be,
Can't be 1,000 pages.
but special relations, like Tom Rocchioli and I have been friends for 25 years, even before that, and we coached baseball together. Our kids grew up together and that kind of thing, and to be to be like in the fold with like someone like Tom is pretty special, because he's always like, when we say we want some verticals of single vineyard wines from you, you can't even buy that at the winery, right? You can't even buy it there. And Tom will go into I can give you this, and
It
Private
was
seller.
amazing. It was amazing.
No, it's out of his private cellar.
Yeah.
He said, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
And I was working, I was working directly with Rachel, and I had gone to the winery and did a tasting just after the opening. And she said, we only hold back maybe a case of wine. And I was like doing the math. I was like, so I got 6 bottles. Amazing library. The kind of connections that we have here through Chef Charlie and the wines getting to represent that on the program is so special. And that's what makes the program so special right now, is these are experiences that the guests can only get in Folia, nowhere else.
Yeah. I mean, I think having access to those things, and in a good way too, because it's not like, I have these, you can't have them. It's like, we'll share these with the people that really appreciate, what it is and that kind of thing. It's
So
good.
Chef, we'll put a link on the show notes for people if they want to get a hold of the book.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to let you get on with your busy day.
Sounds
if you
great.
want to give a little shout out for Zinfest.
Project Zin is coming up.
Yeah, Project Zin.
Project Zin this year will be our 18th year. And, for those that don't know, like Project Zin started, Project Zin is a fundraiser, and all the proceeds every year that we raise go to support autism, and Down syndrome in the Sonoma County area. Which is why it started that way. When Clay and Carrie Mortson, who were great, very good friends of ours, from the time we moved here, Clay's family and dad planted my vineyard. And I knew Clay before he actually built the winery. And Clay is 5 or 6 generations, but, always some of the most amazing grape wine growers. I've been corrected lately. Like, not grape growers, are wine growers in Sonoma. And his 2 brothers and his dad, are just have, I don't know, thousands of acres of grapes that they grow and contract grow. And they own probably 500-600 acres. But anyway, so when we started, when Brady was born, their first son, and we found out that, he was a Down syndrome baby. They were, as young parents, they were, pretty taken aback, obviously, and, kind of devastated in a lot of ways. And I said, well, there's got to be some support for Down syndrome. In fact, there wasn't, here. So I said, we're going to do something about that. And we started, a little fundraiser dinner to create some funds, for programming for Down syndrome. And that grew over the years into, an event that, raised, I think last year after everything, we raised almost $500,000, and there's so many children, in the area that are supported by these programs and summer camps and everything that has to do with this. Because if you know about autism and, that kind of thing, if you get early onto that, it changes the life of that child so amazingly. And that's our mission. And, we are not letting up. We're every year we do it. So Project Zen happens in August.
The 21st and 22nd.
21st, right? Okay.
And all of these things, if people go to Appellation, go to the website, they can get directed to all of the different events.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I know we missed Pigs and Pinot.
Yes, I was saying it was the party of the year, Chef.
Yeah, it really was. And of course, the Project Zen, this will be the first year it's here on this camp. We've only been open 8 months, so but it gives us a lot of space. It's a beautiful, the gardens, and I think we have like 13 or 14 guest chefs, cooking dishes that go with Zen, and then we have 21 Zen producers. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well,
we've
been declaring every year for the last few years to be the year of Zinfandel. So
maybe this is the one,
right?
But
maybe we needed a better cause behind it, Brian.
Yes.
I think we were a little too selfish.
All right.
Yeah. It's a showcase for sure.
And then, Chef, we'll look forward to the property breaking ground in Petaluma.
Yes.
We're really excited about that spot.
Yeah,
I'm pulling for a rooftop bar.
There will definitely be a rooftop bar.
Okay. Well, I'm in that area, so for us, having some place in Petaluma like that is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you. I'm hoping we can take a couple of these books home with us.
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
If we have to leave a credit card, we will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can work it out.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, and we appreciate you. We're gonna let you get on with your day, and we're gonna kind of dig in with Tess a little bit.
Sounds great.
Dig a little bit into her history. Thank you so much for
Thank you very much.
taking the time.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah. Now it's time to get nervous, Tess.
I know. Now I'm really nervous. Thank you, Chef.
Okay.
Thanks, Chef. Appreciate it. So can we go ahead and open up the Pinot Noir?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, let's do that. So, Tess, we're gonna
Also, don't mind, just as Chef is stepping away, and I'm opening up this beautiful Charlie Clay. Him and his family are some of the best people I've ever met, truly. Like, Chef Reed is his son and our chef de cuisine. I have never seen anyone work harder in my life. Truly, if there is someone that I rally this entire team around, it's behind Chef Reed. And they have incredible work ethic. So I'm very lucky to be a part of the family here.
Did you try and talk him out of doing that wax on that bottle?
Every day. Every day. I talk about this wax with Charlie Clay every single day. This wax specifically is actually one of the nicer waxes because it does pop very
it's not too
nicely,
bad.
But there is the double layer of it, which makes it super fun at the table too.
I just, it's for people who don't open wine that make wine. Sometimes they don't realize that, there was bottles that I wouldn't recommend that were on a wine list because
of the wax.
It was a busy night, and I'm like, I'm not going through that. Some of them, the ones where you got to chip them away and you're making a mess at the table, or
that it's dry wax. Right. It's not going to come off cleanly.
Yeah.
Yes,
that wine's beautiful, but we're not selling it.
There are things that people don't think about so much at the table.
I know.
Or you're sitting there. I've gotten very good at making conversation as you're sitting there chipping at the wax, or you're sitting there trying
Small
to get
talk.
the scork. Yeah.
Call it wax talk.
Yes, absolutely. Or using the corvin at the table, the needle corvin.
Yeah.
They are not quick experiences.
No.
So.
Right.
But the Charlie Clay, just as
I'll
Chef
go ahead and
was
pour
talking-
and we'll keep you at the microphone. So this is, Tess, why don't you give us a little, I think we talked before we were recording, give us just a little history about where you grew up, where you're from, and how you came to this area.
Absolutely. I always smile because first I'm from Colorado, just south of Denver. And I just fell in love with wine. And I always say that I am the luckiest woman in Healdsburg, but truly, when I think about my story and my background with wine and what has brought me here, it's just plain luck. Like, I was in rooms with master somms at 21 that were saying yes.
Where? Here or in Colorado?
In Colorado. So sorry, I'll go
Yeah,
through
so
it.
how
But
did that happen?
I actually started on the culinary side. I was in kitchens. I was
Chef's gone, so relax.
okay. I have a glass of wine.
Totally.
So I actually started my collegiate career in New Orleans, and I was 17 working in the French Quarter at these fine dining restaurants. I had no idea.
Where were you working?
At the Feelings Cafe. I don't think it's open anymore. It was in Morrone.
Okay.
But then I worked. Yeah, I didn't know the difference between like a rare and a well done steak. I was 17. I don't know. But I saw New Orleans as this culinary hub. The food was amazing. I gained 25 pounds in 1 year. Like it was all fried. It was all buttered. And
I think that's actually probably showed a great deal of restraint.
Yes. I like got into running because I was like, I have to do something.
You got to balance.
Yes. And so I think that's what kind of opened my eyes to hospitality, was that kind of Southern hospitality, and thinking like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I just get to talk with people all day, and I get to like create this experience and create these memories with them. And then after a few years of living in the South, I said, I want to go back home. I'm going to go back to Colorado. And I finished my college years in Fort Collins at CSU. And I needed a job. So I was reaching out to different chefs I knew, just different people I knew. And I said, I will cut fruit for 12 hours a day.
What did you study? Did you study
hospitality? Yes, with a focus in food and beverage. And I said, I need a job. I'll cut fruit for 12 hours a day. And I was so lucky. I met Chef Robert Beatty, and he totally took me under his wing and showed me how to build a dish and how to build food and flavor and structure and the meaning behind all the spices and why you're adding these things. And I became very proud of the dishes that I was creating. And then for legal reasons, when I turned 21, I started...
first time
tasted
anything.
The first time 21. I ever took a sip of wine.
Yeah.
I started pairing the wine with my menus. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's this thing I'm already so proud of. And wine just took it to the next level. I didn't understand what it could do. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the history and the structure, and that it was almost like the entirety of human history coming together to elevate my dish.
Wow.
Like it
Put some weight on it.
I did. Well, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And so I got like every book I could. I got every bottle I could afford. I just became utterly obsessed with it. And then, so at this time, it was just before COVID had hit. And when COVID hit, I was furloughed from the company. You know, hospitality took a big hit at that time. And I was so lucky, I actually picked up with an event company that was still doing outdoor events of beer and wine festivals.
Wait, this is in Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
thinking this was in Texas or Florida, but
no,
okay.
No, in Colorado, you're right.
It's that mountain air.
It was the only one.
Yeah.
It was safer.
Okay.
So I helped organize like the Vail Craft Beer Classic, Vail Wine Classic, and different festivals. And that was when I just built these amazing connections. I was in Vail setting up seminars, a master somm panel. And there were these master somms who looked at me and they were like, if you want to go into wine, you need to be trying with me. Yeah. You need to be trying all of these wines with me. And I was 21, 22 at the time. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe the rooms I was sitting in. And I think my obsession a little bit kind of grew and started snowballing, because the more and more I opened my eyes to it, the more I realized I knew nothing. I knew nothing of this world. I knew nothing. And it was exciting for me to think that, oh my gosh, there's so much for me to learn and to grow into. And so I started reaching out to any of the connections because I knew I had to be in wine country. I knew I had to go to California.
And to be honest, were you thinking Napa?
No.
Good.
I didn't mean to say it like that. I knew I couldn't afford Napa.
Okay. And Sonoma's just got more diversity in terms of varietals, and it's better.
I I think Napa does luxury very well.
Right.
I think Sonoma does the experimentation and kind of this boutique style very well too.
Yeah. And luxury. We're kind of surrounded in
Yeah, this
luxury.
place bad right here. We're like, I think they've done luxury pretty good here at
Yeah.
Appellation Healdsburg.
Yeah.
And I just started reaching out to any connection I could. And I was out here taking my level 2 exam for 48 hours. And I had interviewed at Francis Ford Coppola for their international trade coordination. And they called me back in Colorado and they were like, you got the job. Can you be here in 3 weeks? And I said, haha, yeah. I was like, yes. Packed everything up, moved my entire life. I actually lived out in Ukiah for a little bit and commuted down.
Wow.
That's commitment.
And, yeah, I knew, like, I knew
backwards.
what I was going to do. I knew.
Why were you living in Ukiah?
It was the only place that I could get in 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
It was that turn that I just like found the first apartment. They wouldn't let me.
Did you have to sign like a 6-month lease or a year lease?
A 6-month lease at the time. And during COVID, they wouldn't let you get the apartment unless you could be in person and like go and walk the apartment, which I thought was interesting. So I couldn't come out here. I couldn't look at apartments.
I'll take it.
Yeah. The first one, they were like, yeah, you can do it. I said, I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, honestly, did you think it was closer?
Yes.
People do that all the time. They come visit wine country and they're like, yeah, we have a tasting in Dry Creek and then we're going to Napa and we're like, they're looking at a map. To them, it's just like going here, there. Yeah.
I was like, it's on the highway. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's a beautiful drive. It is beautiful.
It was a nice drive.
You're correct. But yeah. And so that's a little bit more of the background. I saw wine globally on a massive production scale through Coppola.
Yeah.
And then I went to Miriam Vineyards, which is much smaller, about 3,000 cases a year. And I loved because at Miriam, I got to see first the organic practices and be much more in the vineyard and be a lot closer to the grapes and the vines. But Miriam also helped me identify the different items in wine and the different structure and different, like when you have oak versus stainless steel, how you can identify that in the glass, and taught me so much more about how to present wine and, you know, describe the sensory experience that is so difficult for so many people. And yeah, just continue to find my love and passion.
So then how did this job become open here? How did you hear about it?
It's so funny. Amazing community. I had a friend that was, he works at Bricklore, which is an incredible winery partner of ours as well. And he said, this little place called Appellation is opening. I think they want
understatement. Understatement of the century.
He was like, Chef Charlie Palmer is opening this place. And I said, great. I didn't know who he was. Yeah. And he said, I think they need like someone just to somm on the floor or like work with the wine. And I said, yeah, I can do that. And then I interviewed with Chef and he said, all right, let's get started. And I said, oh, well, you guys aren't open yet. Do you need any help with opening? And they said, yeah, absolutely. So I walked in and my very first day, they like scanned my passport. They said, all right, you work here now. And Chef came up to me. He says, okay, are you ready? And I said, yeah. I was like, yeah, ready for what? And he goes, I want 300 wines and I want them to be the best wines in the world. Go.
Yeah.
And I am so lucky. I got to work with Alex Sarovich, who helped open the Little Saint program as well. They had brought her on board to consult during the opening.
Fun place, by the way. If people have never been there or seen live shows there or eaten there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very unique experience there at Little Saint. They have the retail opportunity. They have the beautiful restaurant. Yeah. And it was quite the whirlwind from there.
Where do you start?
That's what I was going to say.
Where do you start, right?
One of the most important chefs in the world goes, I want 300 wines.
Right. Yeah. And you're in wine country.
And yeah, where do you, like, how do you even strategize before you, like, taste a
Are you like, okay, we need a certain amount of Sauvignon Blanc, certain amount of Chardonnay, a certain amount of Pinots, we need Zin, we need Cab, and then start filling in the, okay, if you do it's 300 bottles. So first you divide it by varietals, and then you're like, okay, then we need
region
12 of each of these.
I don't know if we even thought about it
really?
that much. Like, well, step number one, I was like, meet a distributor. I was like, all right, it sounds good. I was like, find a book that says what wines
and I'm
I
sure
can buy.
they were more than happy to come meet with you.
Yes.
Oh, the new Charlie Palmer place?
Yeah. And then it was also the amazing connections, just as Charlie was talking about, that, you know, he said, well, Michael Brown, we want to have Brown Cirkin Chef. Here's his email. So I'm like calling Michael Brown. I'm like, please give me wine. Please give me your beautiful library of Serge.
Charlie says it's okay.
Yeah, I said, Charlie says I can call you. Is that okay? And yeah, there's the funniest stories that I look back and I realize, again, how lucky I am, but it's funny. It's just funny to think about. But you're absolutely right. I think that in an opening, we didn't really think about the structure yet. And that's where I'm at in the program right now.
Okay.
Is I'd started with the 300 wines. We had this incredible whirlwind. The restaurant was so busy. It was moving. I was selling bottles and go. But now I'm starting to see the trends and starting to kind of find the ethos of the program a little more. Yeah. And also different items like, okay, I started with 5 different Dry Creek Valley Sauvignon Blancs. I don't need 5 different types. So how are we going to versify it, build this portfolio, build the program much more to still represent the ethos of the wine program and also Folia, and create this incredible experience for the guests. It's a really fun puzzle piece game that I get to play.
So had you gone out to eat at like any Michelin-starred restaurants or anything like that, and before you started working here, were you a diner?
I was not a diner for Michelin-starred places, but when through opening, I was devouring like the French Laundry, Single Thread. I was trying to find any wine list that was public and posted.
But I'm talking in terms of service, like what are you bringing to the floor? Like, are you like, oh, I have to be this really stuffy person that can't swear at the table? Well, you probably can't. Yeah. But what are you thinking is going to be your approach to selling wine when you're like, I'm just going to be myself and recommend good wines and hopefully people like them. And then they're like, great, she's great. Yes.
I think that's something I'm very passionate about is I go to the table. It surprises me when our serving staff will say, do you want me to send our som over? A lot of the tables would be like, oh my gosh, no. Like I would never ask for that. I don't want to ask any questions.
Well, you know why? They think, oh, they're coming to take my money.
Yes. The or even that a lot of people are very scared to ask questions or scared to even open the book because it's very intimidating.
That was something that we were talking about AI wine lists. Mm-hmm. And that was something that I think VinePair was talking about that people that ordered things like Rombauer Chardonnay, they loved the AI iPad and everything because they didn't actually want to have a conversation with the som and tell them, well, actually, I really like Rombauer Chardonnay. Do you have anything like Rombauer Chardonnay? So they liked it to be kind of like hush hush.
Yeah. Hide their guilty pleasures.
Especially younger guests, I find. So Gen Z is now in the alcohol drinking market. Millennial guests or anyone that has any restraints that they might be embarrassed about. And mostly lack of knowledge, do you think? Yes, or just experience. They're very new on their wine journey still. Yeah. They don't even know what they want to drink, let alone like how to start asking questions or how to pair it with the menu. What kind of questions to ask? Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I heard this phrase that I didn't necessarily love. It was, wine was the only thing that you had to know something to enjoy. I was like, no, you don't have to know it. You just enjoy what's in your glass. Yeah. You enjoy the conversation at the table that is sparked by the wine. Yeah. And so I very much see it as my duty to take the pretension away and make this thing that I love so much very accessible to people. And, we used to make fun of Soms in Napa because, the guests would ask, oh, what goes well with my fish cab? So Napa cab. Do you feel a little bit of pressure here to be, selling Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, that's
grown within
And Zinfandel.
10 and Zinfandel that's grown within like 10 minutes of beer?
Not necessarily, because I am so lucky that I get to represent wines globally as well through the program. Yeah. And so I really narrow it down at the table based off of what the guest is looking for in their experience. There's different categories of the guests in terms of our local representation who loves drinking local wine. They are looking for that experience. There is local guests who have drank local wine for 5 generations and they want to be drinking a Burgundy. They want to be drinking something international. Right. And then at Appellation, there's guests who are coming to wine country specifically for that local experience. Yeah. So that's when I get to showcase these really small productions, which is fun. It's really fun. For example, I have an Numero Vineyards that is under 140 cases made. It's 100% the Calera clone. And that is an easy conversation for me to have for guests because they're looking for something exactly like that on site here. Yeah.
But as you're 8 months in here and sort of like figuring out the trends and what surprised you from what you thought you were going into when you opened the doors to sort of what you see on the floor and what you see people buying and enjoying that kind of was unexpected.
Thinking of the resort as a whole, because when I was going into building the program, I was very much thinking of it as a wine program for a fine dining restaurant. Right. And that's not necessarily always the case. Our guests want to sit out in the beautiful olive grove and enjoy a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc in the sun.
Which is right over there behind us, by the way. For those of you listening at home.
Yes. They want to have a sparkling rosé by the pool. Right. They want, they're doing a wine tasting somewhere else and they want to take a bottle back to their room because they loved what it was that they tasted. Right. So that's what surprised me the most. Was yes, there is that segment of the guests who are coming for the fully experience. They're enjoying a beautiful bottle on the table, but thinking about it on a much bigger scale too at the resort.
It's immersive.
Yes.
Yeah,
we before you guys showed up, we were talking about that we've both had that experience where we are responsible for every drop of liquid that comes on the property except for water.
Mine is milk.
Sorry,
mine is milk. The chef's got milk.
Yeah. And I think
there's good milk available in Sonoma County though. Yeah, we're pretty lucky there.
5 outlets that I think you're sourcing for.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was up to 6 or 7 at one point, and it's
amazing.
And everyone has its own little different personality. So at the spa they want this.
Yes.
And at the fine dining restaurant they want this, but then at the for breakfast people want this, and so you have to, and then banquets and catering, completely different world because they're looking at price points of things they can offer in quantity
and bulk. That's not the small production. You're not going to the person with 140 cases when you're about to take.
So you end up ordering all this stuff that you didn't think you were ever going to be ordering.
Yeah. You know what might be the most surprising for me? Champagne is right up there with the Pinot Noirs. People love champagne. It's a great celebration.
There's a renaissance going on with bubbles.
It is.
Yeah.
I want to have a champagne cart. I tell Chef Reed every day. I'm like, I'm going to take that cart.
You don't have a champagne cart?
I'm just going to start putting champagne on that cart over there. You can make it.
Right, I think you just DIY.
That seems like a no-brainer. I mean, I think, but I don't know. Are they worried that it's too kind of pretentious or pushy? I mean, places like Cyrus or other places you go, they're going around with a champagne cart because they want to get you some bubbles.
Absolutely. And this Folia itself is such an interesting personality because it is a very relaxed atmosphere. Yeah. I am very relaxed. It's very much a homey atmosphere, but we still have this elevated dining coming out of Chef Reed's kitchen. And so it's quite the balance of, it's a very relaxed atmosphere, but guests are still wanting that high-end champagne. Yeah. They're still wanting that to start their experience. So
maybe instead of a cart, you could have a holster.
Yeah, I am trying.
Then you have more places to hold your corkscrew.
But I am also working on training the staff. You need to start the conversation not with, are you looking for wine? Are you looking for this? Is what bottle of champagne do you want to start with today?
Anytime you get bubbles in someone's mouth, immediately it leads somewhere else.
Yes. It does.
It leads to more bubbles. It leads to a bottle of white, a bottle of red. Champagne is the best gateway drug on the planet.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe if you explain it to them like that, look, your check average is going to go up significantly if you get bubbles in their mouth. Right.
Explain gateway drugs to your servers.
They're all my little children. I love them. But especially so Monday, we have oyster night. And we do a special on oysters. And I said, guys,
we're never leaving today, are we?
No. I said, guys, what goes with oysters? And I was surprised by kind of the blank look. And I said, champagne. I was like, every single bottle or every single table on oyster night should have a bottle of champagne down. And
to start.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I started buying Aureole in 2 cases at a time because that was oyster night. Yep. Number 1 bottle that goes out, or our Palmer champagne that we're enjoying today. Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is great, by the way.
It's very good. Yeah.
It's beautiful, beautiful wines. And
balanced out my over-caffeinatedness very well.
Yes. So you are probably like myself when I was running a wine program. When people ask you, what tasting rooms should we go to? You're like, I haven't been to any tasting rooms because everyone comes to you.
Oh, it's really interesting being here because I try to dedicate time to going to the tasting rooms as well and knowing the experience.
Because where are you living now?
I'm in Santa Rosa.
Okay, you got out of Ukiah.
Yes, I did. Okay. I did it.
Okay. Got out of that
evolving.
lease. Yeah, okay.
But
it's haiku backwards though. Ukiah.
That's
it's the most
hilarious,
right? Haiku backwards.
Yes,
that's my contribution for the day.
Okay,
and
conversation stop the podcast.
Avion is naive because the French are pulling a fast one on the Americans.
Filling up water bottles in downtown Paris.
Weird server conversations that happen in the middle of a shift.
God, what were we even talking about? That just stopped me down the
street. So have you gotten a chance to get out in the world and kind of go to some spots?
Yeah, so through the opening, there was so little time, but it was really important to me to spend my off time going to tasting rooms and really get the experience. And I find a lot of my memories come from there. And it was also very important to me because it was a chance for me to get in front of the winemaker and ask them. I asked every single one of them, if you were standing at the table in front of the guest, what do you want the guest to know about your wine, about your label?
Right.
Because I'm an ambassador of their label.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure that I'm representing their wines the way exactly they would if they were at the table too. Yeah. It was very important to me, and I have incredible memories. Like I had gone to Knightsbridge in Knights Valley on my day off. I kind of wanted to treat myself. It was like crazy during the opening. And I went and I didn't tell them it was actually my birthday. I didn't know what to do for my birthday. So I went wine tasting, and Jim and Kelly Bailey got me a cake. They they didn't know. They ran out. They got cake. They all came and sang to me. Their winemaker Derek had walked me through the cellar, and we got to try these beautiful expressions of wine. And it is so critical to go to the place and also experience it. And it's so critical for me to step away from the restaurant sometimes and get back into the vineyard.
Well, because people are going to ask you all the time. Yeah. You are the concierge for a lot of the wineries.
Yeah.
Because people think that you are the expert that's going to know where they should go.
Yeah.
Hey,
absolutely.
We didn't make any plans. Where would you go if you were us?
It's a huge conversation and something that I try to work very closely with the winery, because a lot of the times I'm talking to the guests at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Yeah. They say, where do I go tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I'm frantically texting tasting room managers. I'm like, hey, I have a reservation. These people are going to come at 11 a.m.
Yeah, you've already vetted your clientele. If they're staying here, yeah, the wineries want to have
we'll take those 10 o'clock text messages.
Right?
Yeah,
totally.
And it's something, speaking of the outlets, that I also have to develop here and get to grow, because it hasn't been created yet. So collecting those 2-for-1 cards, or collecting something, and I want to make a packet to be able to hand to the guests of the experiences and my knowledge to be able to give to them.
That's what I did at the Fairmont, is I did 10 of experiences that I would go to, and they were all different. If you want to see vineyards, if you're just going because you're just a huge Pinot Noir lover.
Absolutely.
It was kind of like the Psalms picks, but for tasting rooms. And then you give it to the concierge, and then they can kind of act on your behalf.
Yes. And also part of the featured winery program. So here at Appellation, we have the featured winery. I work with the wineries and saying, can the hotel guests get a 2-for-1 or some kind of promotion? Because the hotel guests, we already have this captured audience here. They're coming in, they've already tasted the wine in our welcome pour. They are excited to be here in wine country. They're seeing your display. How else can we get them to your tasting room? Yeah. It is a very large conversation that I have here in wine country because I want to promote the wineries during this time. I want to do everything I can to get guests into their doors as well.
What are you geeky about? Is it like Vino Verde, Gruner? Like what is the kind of
Ariana
stuff?
Okapinti.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
Oh, you know those
my
ones.
gosh.
Yeah, you've seen the label.
Yeah.
Have I?
Yeah, absolutely. And
SP68. I'm like getting sweaty thinking about it.
Oh my God.
Sicilian wines.
like in a rock walled clos.
Yeah.
This is the one with the weird
Vivo,
corks that are like
Frappato.
rubber weird.
No. But it's got like, I want to say it's like a wedge of cheese sort of drawing on the front, but that's not what it is. You know what I'm talking about? That like, it's the rock wall, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But like at an
that's
angle.
one of her labels,
Yeah.
and also SP68 is like the highway in Italy.
Okay.
But biodynamic, organic, Frappato itself is maybe what I would geek over, or Zabibo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Zabibo?
Yeah.
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 Wait a minute. Let's talk dessert wine.
You've had these wines.
So
Donna
fun.
Fagata. You ever had Ben Rie, Donna Fagata Ben Rie dessert wine?
I
Made
just
from
had the
Zabibo
Cos
grapes?
Zabibo dessert wine.
We need to hang out.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so much to nerd out about. Oh gosh.
Yeah, totally. And you're allowed the freedom to put these sorts of wines on the list because you're excited about it and then share that with people.
Absolutely. Yes.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
And what was the whole article in Vogue about?
Gen Z sommeliers.
Okay.
And the main point of the article was taking the pretension out of wine.
Good.
A lot of people ask me about Gen Z sommeliers, or there's the big conversation that Gen Z isn't drinking anymore.
Yeah.
And I kind of like fight for my generation a little bit in terms of what might have held us back, what I think the wine industry is kind of trending into and how it's going, and what is going to bring the next generation of like potential wine lovers out, right? There is different conversations that I have in terms of, like, for example, I have the cutest little apartment in Santa Rosa. It's me and my cat against the world. I don't have a basement cellar where I can age wine for 10 years.
Right.
When it's 110 degrees outside, it's 110 degrees in my apartment. Like, I'm not...
Poor kitty.
Yeah, I know. It's better than up in Ukiah. But it was hotter. It was hotter there. But there isn't the opportunity for me to enjoy a library Burgundy at my house as it has been the opportunities in the past sometimes.
So are you able to use that as a selling point? Younger people that come in, hey, I know you don't have a library at home. I got some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Or, do you get pushback from some of the older men? Like, why am I going to take your advice on wine? You look like you're not even old enough to drink. I'm sure you hear little comments like that every now and then. I
do. And that's where those cheeky little lines come in that it's, I have a lifetime of drinking ahead of me. Or like, how exciting is it that then I get to experience something for my whole life? Because I know, like I haven't been in Burgundy drinking a library DRC La Tâche.
Right.
I haven't gotten those opportunities yet.
Yeah.
But I know my program. I get to hear about Sonoma County wines from the best people in the world, the smartest people in the world. And I want to be an advocate for that. There is comments of, because I'm in Sonoma County, that these people have been growing grapes and wines for 5 generations. But I humble myself every single day. And I say, then what would you want to tell me about Sonoma County? Like, what can I tell to the next guest that will help me that way?
Yeah. Because you're kind of running into ballers that are coming in here. Right.
Yeah. And I don't try to pretend that I know more than them. I really, really don't.
That's the move, right? You're not trying to.
I don't try. I can help you navigate my program. But these guests know the wine. They know the wine through and through. So I'm not going to try to pretend to know more than them.
Do you get annoyed when a server says, hey, can you go to that table? They're interested in Sauvignon Blanc by the glass. And you're like, we have one. Why are you sending me to the table? Do they do that shit to you?
Every single day at lineup, I tell the servers, I go, I am not going to pour your by the glass.
Right.
But what is important is giving the servers resources too. I've done glass for them where I've gone through all of the wines by the glass.
Yeah.
I've done tastings. I bring in, so Knightsbridge is my Sauvignon Blanc by the glass. I've brought in Knightsbridge to talk about their wines. Yeah. Doing staff training, very important. But that's so every single day at lineup, I go, I will not pour your wines by the glass. You have to have some knowledge and also food pairing. It's also very important because we had just rolled out a tasting menu, a 6-course tasting menu that has the opportunity for pairing as well. And a lot of times I'm the only som and or the only manager on the floor too. And so I tell them, I'm like, I'm doing 10 pairings right now that are different pacings. You need to be able to pour that Sauvignon Blanc. Like, please, God. Please be able to talk about it.
Do you think I'm going to go there and then end up selling them some Dagenau?
Yeah.
Like they wanted a glass of Sauvignon Blanc for $15.
Yeah.
But why are you sending me to the table?
Is there Dagenau on the list though? Is that lunch? Oh no, we're having Montrachet for lunch.
I have Dagenau. My favorite line is when a server comes up to me and just goes, they want wine.
Right.
I'm like, great.
Perfect.
I said, who is they? That is my favorite line that I get a lot.
Yeah, they want wine.
You know, it's good to be needed though. You'll realize at some point you're in one of those positions that someone's always going to need your expertise and advice.
And it's so funny because there's nights where I'm just a mad woman. I'm running around. I'm doing 15 different pairings at a time. And then the slow nights, I'm like walking up to tables. I'm like, hey, do you want my Sauvignon Blanc by the glass? I was like, do you please want some wine? You're absolutely right. There is ebbs and flows. And it is kind of funny because then now the servers don't need me for the wines by the glass. I'm like, do you have any questions? I'm like, wait, they're my little babies. They're flying. Yeah.
So how far away do you think you are from, where you want to be with this list? Or is the idea from what Charlie was talking about, does he just want to continue to build this thing?
When I had first started, our food and beverage director, Eric Fox, is an incredible mentor for me now. And I will admit that there's so many frustrating moments where you just want it all to happen all at once. You see everything that needs to happen with the list and you want it to happen. And he said, in 2 years is the first time you're going to look back and be like, okay, it's at least the foundation is built.
Yeah.
And in 5 years is really my timeline of being able to take a breath and say, okay, this is kind of where I want it to be going. I don't think it's never going to be done.
Yeah.
I don't want it to ever be done. It would be boring if there was a timeline to it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to always change. It's always going to change with the restaurant. It's always going to change with Sonoma County, what's being represented. And that's the fun part, right?
So people that haven't been here before, what kind of food are you guys serving at the restaurant?
I had asked Chef Reed and Chef Eric Kim, I said, what do you think you do with food? And they said, we take simple ingredients and make them amazing.
Yeah.
Take very natural items all coming from Sonoma County, and they just make you feel at home in this elevated. They can take a summer squash and make it the most beautiful thing that you've had, paired with a Colorado.
Right.
And it's things that surprise you. Like right now on the menu, there's a tuna crisp, and it's a very simple look. It's the Latache cracker, the tuna crisp is spread over it, but the flavors that Chef Eric Kim can bring out in this almost paste texture, it's amazing. It's amazing. So it's that American style. I honestly thought that's where Chef Charlie was going, was really getting to talk about what Chef Reed can do with this true American elevated cuisine.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know if I'm ready for congratulations yet. It's not there.
You're not ready,
But
not ready for the victory lap.
I'm not ready for it yet. There is so much. But I got a new inventory system implemented, so that's super fun. So I did that. I barcoded everything.
Are you serious?
I barcoded it.
That's as happy as Brian's looked in weeks.
And if there is one piece of advice for someone who is starting a wine program, barcode from day one.
Day one.
Because once you go too far, you're like, okay, is it going to be more work to count everything or more work to barcode everything?
Get Binwise.
Yeah.
Can they sponsor me? I will market it. Oh my gosh, my inventory, it still takes me a while to do inventory, but to be able to go into a room and just scan it all.
That's amazing.
Game changer. That's where I will use the robots and technology is inventory.
Take my job, please.
Yes, please take inventory.
French house music.
Yeah.
Yes. This is, and it's so funny. I run into restaurants and I'm like, where's the Somm? And he's like, me. And I'm like, dude, what inventory system do you have? Like, that's the first question I ask them.
Yeah.
It's not the glamorous part of my job, but it's important.
But it is kind of cool because you know how much of everything you have.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the floor recommending something, you're like, got a party of 6. I got 3 bottles of this wine they're gonna love.
And that was something that was a fun challenge during opening as well. Is I don't know if you can see behind me the cellar that is in Folia. At the time of opening was probably about 90% of my storage for 300 different SKUs. So through opening, I had, there was, for red wines, there was 4 places. For white wines, there was 2 places. For the opening order, I was buying 2, maybe 6 bottles of everything.
Yeah.
And it's
basically displays.
Yes. Yeah. But that's another part of the experience of Folia is saying, I have 1 bottle of this Literai left. Do you want it? Yeah.
One of our friends who is a Somm at Madera Park in Atlanta has a like her own little book that she carries on the floor, and it's like, what is it? Single bottles or?
Yes.
Yeah. She put in her notice there.
Oh, so she is no longer there.
I don't know.
Will she give me her book?
I don't know. That's what I was about to say. I don't know where the book went.
She came out here. She was interviewing. She wants to move to Northern California to wine country and do something in the wine business. But yeah, it was a fun little book because she would come to the table and none of it was on the list, but it was like, hey, I have like 1 or 2 bottles of these, and you could kind of, it was like her little personal diary.
And her it was all handwritten. That's fun.
It
was cool.
And those are really fun things that we can do in a restaurant. And that's what's fun about an opening is there is rules. There's rules. Yeah. But
there's budgets.
There's budgets.
There's being recorded.
But yes. Like working
Nobody
with,
listens, don't worry.
Yeah. Working with Chef Reed, like he said, I want to handwrite the tasting menus. I was like, that's such a cool experience for guests to get. Oof. Or like a handwritten book for... Yeah. I handwrite the tasting menus.
I was going to say...
My handwriting's better than the chef's.
100%.
Yeah. But these are experiences that guests love and help create the ethos of our property and experience here at Folia.
We need to come back and stay here. I was this close. I almost stayed here last night. Oh, I was this close.
Why didn't you?
Because I have this
the rabbit
and this cat that I'm taking care of. My daughter's pets. She's traveling. So
is there a rabbit on the menu? No, we're not even going to finish that sentence.
Tristan had this girl that came in from Austria yesterday to the tasting room, and she was like, "Oh, you're taking care of a rabbit." And I'm like, "Yeah, and it sucks because I want to go to do this thing and I can't do it." She goes, "What kind of rabbit?" I told her. She goes, "Oh, you can replace that so easily."
Just in case.
Oh my God. Yeah. Cool. Any you guys want to do? Thank you very much for joining us on the
Thank you.
On the love getting to share today. The place.
Thank you. Hopefully, you can come visit us in Sonoma sometime.
We'll get you down for our Grenache Day industry party at the very least.
Fun, yes.
Industry party, Grenache Day.
That's what's so fun.
Take a Friday night off.
Talking with all the other Sommies and building, I'm like, what did you get? Like, my Akama stole all of my Beaujolais Minot. and I'm a little mad at him for it, but that's fine. That's fine. But thank you so much for everything. I hope you guys get to enjoy and get to stay and walk the property a little bit.
We're going to sit and have lunch and bask in the beauty of the Appellation Healdsburg.
Yes.
They don't usually let us into, well, at least not me, places this nice. I didn't bring my blazer, but
I knew we were coming to see Charlie. I'm rocking the blazer today.
It has pockets, absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys. This show is
coming out sometime soon.
So Stanley Mouse Party,
sorbet dinner.
Sorbet dinner.
Sorbet dinner, Rossi Ranch, July 11th. Tickets are on sale.
They are going to be sold out by the time this show
I
comes
fucking
out.
hope so.
Yeah.
It's only 50 spots.
Yeah.
And it's only $95.
Yeah.
Paella and a dozen organically, regeneratively, biodynamically grown wines.
Yeah.
In the Rossi Ranch.
Yeah.
Morgan, Katie. Maybe I'll even be there. Maybe Jam de Bois will even be there.
Maybe.
We'll make sure you got on the website.
Thank you. If you weren't at the Jam de Bois soft opening party, then
Picking on Jam de Bois.
then come to the next one.
There you go.
Yeah. How's Dan?
I hope you were there. I hope
How's Dan doing?
He's doing better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Upright?
Yes.
Okay.
Minimal golf club usage for the cane.
And then tickets are on sale for direct-to-consumer wine symposium. Early bird tickets are on sale. Barbara created this great video. I saw that you found it too, of the little grape getting hit by the golf club and
into the aquarium,
into the aquarium in Monterey. So start getting the tickets there. It's going to be a pretty cool keynote speaker lineup.
Yeah.
And then Jasmine and I will see you at Blood of Gods up in Walla Walla. We'll be there, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th.
It's a crazy birthday party Jasmine's throwing for herself.
Is that her birthday?
The 14th.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. I will make sure.
I'll
pay for a tasting while we're
714 Jasmine, 814 you, 914 Reed.
Cool.
Yeah.
7:15 me.
715 you?
Yeah. So it's Jasmine then me.
Okay. Well, big birthday party that you're not invited to.
I know. Well, I'll be at my own birthday
And you
party.
guys, we'll leave a link for how to get a hold of the Wineland cookbook in the show notes.
Yep.
And
The book is beautiful.
And the winemakerspodcast.com. Yeah, we're taking those books.
That was a good slide in there at the end. Totally just being like, yeah, sure.
By the way, those books
Couldn't
are
say
coming
no.
out with us.
Got him on record.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. We'll
Thank
look forward
you.
to talking to you next week.